गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन यमुनातिरावनचारी 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 राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha, Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jaya Nitai Patita Pavana Gaura Hari. Nitai Patita Pavana Gaura Hari. Jaya Nitai Patita Pavana Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Gaura Hari Pranate Premanande Hari Hari Bol. संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna. Sorry to disappoint you if you were expecting Rohin Nandan Prabhu or Nikunj Bihari Prabhu. Today is actually their turn, but I was, ordered, technically speaking, to share Srimad Bhagavatam. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, verse number 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललितान् श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपास्तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरोद्भतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्. हरिर्नाम एव केवलं कलौ नास्त्येव गतिरन्यथा. तद्गच्छ ध्रुवभद्रं ते तद्गच्छ ध्रुवभद्रं ते भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम् सर्वभूतात्मभावेन सर्वभूतात्मविग्रहम् तद्गच्छ ध्रुवो भद्रं ते भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम् सर्वभूतात्मभावेन सर्वभूतात्मविग्रहम् तद्गच्छ ध्रुवभद्रं ते भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम् सर्वभूतात्मभावेन सर्वभूतात्मविग्रहम् तद्गच्छ ध्रुवभद्रं ते भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम् सर्वभूतात्मभावेन सर्वभूतात्मविग्रहम् तद therefore gaccha come dhruva dhruva bhadram good fortune te unto you bhagavantam unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead adhokshajam who is beyond the concept of material senses Sarvabhuta, all living entities, Atma Bhavena, by thinking of them as one, Sarvabhuta, in all living entities, Atma, the super soul, Vigraham, having form. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Dhruv, come forward. May the Lord always grace you with good fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond our sensory perception, is the super soul of all living entities, and thus all entities are one, without distinction. Therefore, begin rendering service unto the transcendental form of the Lord, who is the ultimate shelter of all living entities. Purport. Here the word Vigraham, having specific form, is very significant, for it indicates that the absolute truth is ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is explained in the Brahma Samhita, Satchidananda Vigraha. He has form, but his form is different from any kind of material form. The living entities are the marginal energy of the Supreme Form. As such, they are not different from the Supreme Form, but at the same time, they are not equal to the Supreme Form. Dhruva Maharaj is advised herewith to render service unto the Supreme Form. That will include service to other individual forms. For example, a tree has a form, and when water is poured onto the root of the tree, the other forms, the leaves, twigs, flowers, and fruits, are automatically watered. The Mayavad conception that because the absolute truth is everything, he must be formless is rejected here. Rather, it is confirmed that the absolute truth has form, and yet he is all pervading. Nothing is independent of him. Om Agyantim Dandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, very unqualified to sit here. Actually, there is no qualification. What to speak of being unqualified in front of such exalted devotees like His Grace Bhagavad Prabhu, Achyut Gopal Prabhu, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, His Grace Shyam Kishore Prabhu, His Grace Balavan Nitai Prabhu, His Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu in presence, and a lot of devotees are online. So please bless me, pray for me that I could speak something meaningful that I can apply in my life. Actually, with a heavy heart, I have to inform you all that very senior devotee in ISKCON New Jersey Tobacco congregation, one of the very few first devotees I interacted with, and actually he gave me the all the Vaishnava songs written in Gujarati language, and I could really relate to it because it was written in Gujarati, all the Bengali fonts, and my initial inclination was with Narsinga prayer, so I was very happy to see the written in Gujarati format. See, His Grace, a very senior devotee of or disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu has left the mortal world. Very elderly gentleman, fatherly figure for me. So, it's a apt opportunity to glorify him. Maybe at the end we'll do some glorification of his services. But here, yesterday also was Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance day. So we'll speak something about him. But coming back to this amazing verse, where the chapter title is Dhruv Maharaj goes back to Godhead. Now, for us, especially for me, who has very little sadhana, very little inclination to chant holy name, very little understanding of the scriptures, when we hear this title, it feels like that is the destination. That's where I want to go. But failing to understand that it is a process, and even before going to that destination, Dhruv Maharaj has attained the perfection. So it is a process where we continue to practice and 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 try to assimilate ourselves what we are going to do in Goloka, here, right now, being in this body, contemplating, thinking, serving in same manner that we would tend to do in the spiritual world. We fail to, and speaking about myself, we fail to realize that it is not a material destination. It is not something that where we can go with our own endeavor or where with our own, tools, with our own um, intelligence. The bhakti or the process of bhakti is such that advancement in bhakti or even to have the ability to practice bhakti is awarded. It is not achieved by personal strength. And the way we make ourselves eligible for that advancement or bhakti, of course, our endeavor is so important, but devotee's mercy, following the footsteps of the acharyas or senior devotees, who are always as well-wishing friend well-wishers, they're always sharing how to do that. And as aspirants, as sadhakas, as struggling sadhakas, as Gauranga Darshan Prabhu said so aptly, as struggling sadhakas, our our thought process should be how to really engage ourselves in Krishna's service. In this shloka, in translation, Dhruva Maharaj is advised that come forward, may the Lord always grace you with good fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond our sensory perception, is the super soul of all living entities, and thus all entities are one without distinction. In terms of this sounds somewhat like Mayavad, that all living entities are one without distinction. But in terms of the quality, what we are made up of, Satchidananda, and Prabhupada explains in purport very nicely that we are made up of the same ingredient or same substance, spiritual substance. The soul is made up of the same spiritual substance as the Lord Himself. Sat Chit Ananda. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. And Srila Prabhupada has always, any shloka that you come across, if any opportunity that he gets to establish that Krishna is a person and we all have a personal relationship with that person, he does not leave any opportunity in any shloka or any purport that come across. So here, utilizing or showing that Vigraham at the end, he shares or tells that God or Krishna is a person, the ultimate reality that people cannot fathom, cannot understand, cannot think of, cannot comprehend. He is just not energy. He is not something formless. He is a person. He is a person. I had a very nice time with the summer camp kids in some age group. We were discussing yesterday that we are all pleasure seeking entities. We all want to be happy all the time. Doesn't matter who, and not necessarily just humans. Any single living entity, even smallest of the ant on the ground, crawling or trying to figure out where is the sugar particle. I want to enjoy. Why? Why is that? And the kids have such nice answers, such wonderful answers, each one of them. And we are going to reveal the answer at 10 a.m. today in the class. But we all need to really introspect that why I am always wanting to be happy. Either I want to be happy personally by enjoying my senses. Why I want to enjoy my senses? Because I feel good. Why do you want to feel good? Because I want to be happy. But why you want to be happy? Everything. The kids were saying, I want to be happy because I don't want to be sad. I said, yeah, it's one and the same thing. You're just saying the opposite thing. But what is the real reason why you want to be happy? And none of them could satisfy me with the answer. So I've given them the homework today and we'll reveal at 10:10. Any of you are interested, you can join me in the class also, but we'll talk about that later. But we all know why we want to be happy. Why we want to be happy is because of our source. That's where the tendency to enjoy comes from. Because the salt and water mixed together becomes the salted water, and that's where the saltiness of the water comes from. So because we are part and parcel of God, and Krishna is Satchit Ananda, that's where the enjoyment propensity, the tendency to enjoy comes from. And anything that we experience in this material world, that think like, that look like, that is kind of perverted reflection of that enjoyment which is stored for us in the spiritual world in the presence of Krishna in his service. That is, we, and by looking at the examples like Dhruv Maharaj going to the spiritual world, in furthermore, when we discuss and study, it is explained that Dhruv Maharaj actually puts one leg onto the dark personality, death personified, on his head. He puts one leg and gets onto the spiritual plane to go to the spiritual world. What an amazing example, and what a personality. How can we, how are we so fortunate to come across such an example which gives us so much of hope, so much of um, you know inspiration to continue our devotional service. Not necessarily that, not necessarily that this is the only reason why we should practice, that okay, we want to achieve the destination, but the process itself is susukham kartum avyayam. It is actually very happily performed. One is very happy to perform. On the other day, Dinabandhu Prabhu was explaining that in the month of May and June, in so much of, sorry, please forgive me. In month of May and June, Radharani is burning 50 ovens, 50 different ovens are burning. Such a level of heat, but not a bead of perspiration is coming through on her body. Why? Because she's so happy serving Krishna, cooking for Krishna in such a hot weather, such a high temperature. But in night, when she goes back to Java, everything is so pleasant, and all the flowers are on the bed, and very soft bed sheets, and all the sakhis are doing the chamara and peacock feather, and she's they all everyone trying to comfort her, make her happy, but she's burning in the temperature, lot of high fever for the separation of the Lord. So that is the that is the feeling a devotee has. We we try to you know we try to see these examples and understand that the scriptures are giving us the window to the spiritual world, and more we need to um, study and try to put into practice and implementation. What a level of humility yesterday when our Gaurang Darshan Prabhu said, asking blessings from all of us who were attending the class, that speaking is easy. As Yugal Kishore Prabhu always says, it is so easy to speak something when devotees are listening, someone is listening, but to put into implementation is very, very difficult. Put into practice is very difficult. So, as a struggling sadhaka, I also seek blessings from all of you to become more serious and sincere in spiritual life, and try to serve the devotees and the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Vargas, to make my life successful. So this is what I think I can share on Srimad Bhagavatam. Very quickly on um, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, his Gunamanjari, and in 1542, um, Narsimha Chaturdasi, he had this feeling of, he was worshipping Shaligram Shilas. There were 12 Shaligram Shilas, and he was worshipping, and he had a desire that he should have a Vigraha, or the form of the Lord, that he could worship in a way that he could have them cloth and all ornaments and so on and so forth. So overnight, the on day of Narsingha Chaturdasi, this Vigraha is, uh, self-manifested from one of his Shaligram Shila, and that is, and he shared it with the other Goswamis and other devotees, and they had a festival, and the name was given Radha Raman. Shri Radha Raman Lal ki Jai. And it happened so that um, Radha Raman is actually said to be the exact form of Krishna. It is stated that there are three different forms: Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govind, and Radha Gopinath represent different sections of the part of the Krishna's body. But Radha Ramanji has the full, you know, how Krishna used to look, or the beauty of Krishna is fully resembled in Radha Raman. Um, Current modern day, one of the acharyas of Radharaman Sampradaya, or the temple, um, his Pundarik Goswami was sharing. There were two things were very amazing about Radharaman Lal, that he was serving Radharamanji with his father, and curtains were closed and they were dressing him, and something was happening, and he was not wearing his, you know, uh, he was not wearing one of his clothes, and it was not tying, or something was happening, and it was like time to open the darshan. And he he was like, they were, whoever was serving, he was present there, and they were all they were all in anxiety that, okay, he's not getting ready, what we should do. So then one of the senior Goswamis were informed, I think it was his father was informed, that we are having a difficulty, Radha Ramanlal is not wearing. So he came and he technically started scolding the Radha Raman. I said, what are you doing? Why are you not wearing properly? Wear properly, otherwise I'll just open the curtain right now and people will see you without the clothes. You want me to do that? Like that, he was literally scolding Radha Raman. And in few minutes, he started all the clothes and everything. He wore it nicely, and the darshan were opened. So this is the even modern day. Krishna is having his pastimes with his devotees who has heart to reciprocate and serve him in that sense. Also, he was sharing that just few years back, he was serving inside Radharaman. Yes, we shouldn't be trying any of this. Don't try at home, or try it at your own risk. Don't try it at the temple also, of course. But he was sharing that, something was not feeling right when he was serving inside, putting the, Radharaman's cloth or ornaments, and he was not feeling, um, like, not feeling comfortable, or something was not right. So he was thinking, what's wrong? Why is there something? Some aparad has happened. Something has happened. What has happened? So if you have been to Radharaman temple, there is a big, courtyard, and Radharaman gives darshan from that courtyard. So you could see when you come out from that gallery, or where Radharaman is giving his darshan, if one would come out, they could see all the people who are gathered together to take darshan. So this Pundarik Goswami came out and he saw. So there was a big politician has come to take the darshan. But what has happened is that his bodyguards and everyone, they were all wearing the leather belts. They were all wearing leather belts. And actually, when you go to any of the sacred, places or temples, you are supposed to leave your shoes out, anything leather, everything, those things that are not, conducive, should not be brought in. So that he informed one of his, individuals, like, okay, tell them to leave their belts and everything outside. And when he went back in, he felt a little more relief, and then all the clothing and ornament, offering and everything went very smoothly. So even now, you can see devotees who are sharing, who has some relationship with the Lord Bhagavan, they reciprocate in such wonderful ways. Um, Shri Shri Radha Raman Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai. And now, last, I would like to share my condolences to the family of His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, very senior disciple of Bhakti Char Swami Maharaj, and a pillar actually, ideal grahastha, and became a vanaprastha in 1982. Since the beginning of the temple, he has been a pillar of Tobacco ISKCON community. Let me share this picture. So please pray for him. I have shared his devotee care also, but this is His Grace Shri Vrindavan Prabhu, Shri Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. Very, very soft, mild personality. Originally from Surat, Gujarat, India. And my father actually, he was also chemistry, some professor or something. My father had some relationship. They went to the same place to take exam or something like that, being the professor. His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu was instrumental in so many devotees' lives. I know personally, he brought so many devotees to Krishna consciousness. And um, I think His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in the beginning days kind of preached to him or got him to Krishna consciousness, and then eventually, he became very, very strong member of our ISKCON Tobacco or the ISKCON New Jersey community. The Hare Krishna mantra tune that I just sang earlier is one of the tunes that I heard from him first, and I had a really hard time following. I couldn't really understand when to stop Hare, how to when to stop and start the Krishna. But I had a really, I had to really work at it. And Prabhu had a always very, very wonderful demeanor, and he always was, wanting to glorify the Lord. He would never say no to leading the kirtan, any services. So the we are all very much grateful and indebted to his service to Sri Sri Gaurnitai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanumanji Maharaj, and Sri Srinath Ji and Srila Prabhupada in serving the devotees, serving the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu has really pleased his Guru and Srila Prabhupada so immensely. Ideal Vaishnava, ideal Vanaprastha. I was in one of the retreats, or I think it was in Tobacco, and um, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj glorified uh, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu by saying that he was giving, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was giving his example that as a sannyasi, I feel I don't have so many responsibilities, so many personal responsibilities that I have to take care of the children and other responsibilities of the relatives and all that. But Vrindavan Chandra, like he was pointing to him, when I see devotees like him trying to do the spiritual activity as well as taking care of the family so nicely, taking care of the relatives so nicely, engaging and facilitating everyone to perform Krishna's service. Maharaj, I have heard with my own ears how wonderfully Maharaj has glorified Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. So Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu has definitely pleased his Guru immensely, so wonderfully, and we take inspiration from his life, and try to serve the devotees, serve the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and the acharyas, how they have laid down the path to perfection by this wonderful example. I always feel when something like this happens that we should have some forum to glorify the devotees or senior devotees who have contributed to our movement to share their glories, and a devotee should know. There are nice websites called How I Came to Krishna Consciousness, or those platforms are there, but each individual yatra or some kind of a culmination of this senior devotees, initial, second generation, we can call it, Prabhupada's disciples, who are very instrumental, who were there from the very beginning of the movement after Srila Prabhupada's departure. They have led from the front. He was living full time with his wife, Her Grace Yashomati Mataji, in the temple. And anyone who has visited ISKCON Tobacco, you cannot visit the temple and not have their darshan. Or they are so sincere. Mataji always wakes up that 4:30 aarti. She does it even after so much of physical or bodily constraints. She is still doing her service so amazingly. Just a few weeks back, we were visiting. We met them. We had a good fortune of. I had a good fortune of doing some service. He was carrying um, pot of milk all the way from basement to his room, and I saw him coming up, and I kind of grabbed it and I said, "Prabhu, I'll bring it up." I had a nice interaction at that time. Very, very soft, very mild personality, and such an amazing devotee. So please pray for him, and we pray to him actually to get some, service attitude and the conviction in the uh, process. Thank you again for patiently listening and giving me the opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Thank you all very much. Any correction, Prabhu? Anything you want to say, share? Anything you want to?
No, you're just sharing with me actually one time that Maharaj said, no, you repeat. No, I'm not going to share it. You repeat.
Okay.
So Maharaj was saying one time that Maharaj told him, yeah, you are my Guru.
Him. Oh, wow. So His Grace Shyam Kishore Prabhu is sharing with with Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. Maharaj had an interaction. Maharaj shared that Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu is his guru. You are my guru, like that. Bhakti Swami Maharaj was telling Vrindavan Prabhu, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, Shriman Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, that he is Bhakti Charu Maharaj's guru, like that Maharaj was sharing in his humility. Thank you so much for the opportunity again to share about Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur. Anyone else online would like to share anything? Okay, we'll end the class.